As Stina enters the Umbrella Lab train car, a sense of foreboding fills the air. The dim lighting casts flickering shadows, and the sterile environment feels eerily familiar. Stina steels herself, pushing aside her unease. She moves carefully through the narrow aisles, her footsteps echoing hollowly. The train car is silent except for the low hum of the lab equipment. Suddenly, a faint sound catches her attention. A distant shuffling, barely audible but undeniably human. Stina freezes, listening intently. With her gun raised, Stina carefully steps out of the train car. She scans the surroundings, her eyes darting from shadow to shadow. The lab area is vast, with multiple hallways and rooms branching out in various directions. Suddenly, a low growl echoes through the corridor. Stina whips around to find a group of infected stumbling towards her, their bodies twisted and grotesque, the telltale signs of the T-virus clear. Stina exhales sharply, her grip steady. No hesitation, no wasted movement. The first infected lurches toward her, jaw slack with hunger. Bang! The bullet punches through its temple before it even hits the floor. The second tries to scramble over its fallen kin. Bang! Another headshot, another corpse crumpling. The last one staggers close enough for her to smell rotting flesh. She holsters her gun mid-step, pivots. Her boot slams into its temple with a sickening crack. Brains splatter the lab wall like wet paint. She shakes off the gore with a grunt, wiping her boot on the tiles. Fucking amateur hour, she mutters, reloading. The echoes of gunfire fade, leaving only the hum of flickering fluorescence. She glances down the next corridor, deeper into the lab, deeper into hell. Her fingers twitch near her knife. The real monsters always wait further in. Stina pauses, her fingers tightening around the gun grip. The weight of those words hits her harder than any infected ever could. She exhales, shoulders slumping slightly as the lab's sterile white walls suddenly feel like a prison. For her, for them, for everyone. Shit, she mutters under her breath, eyes flicking to a shattered security monitor nearby. Static-filled footage loops, blurry figures in lab coats, desperate hands pounding on locked doors, scientists, workers, people. Her jaw clenches. She remembers the screams echoing through Raccoon City, not just from the bitten, but from those who knew what was coming. The ones who tried to warn everyone before Umbrella silenced them. The ones who never got to run. Fuck this, she growls, but her voice lacks its usual edge. The next hallway stretches ahead, lined with containment cells. Some doors hang broken, others sealed tight. Behind one, a weak cough. Stina hesitates. The gun feels heavier now. She steps forward, slowly, and peers through the glass. Inside, a figure in a torn lab coat hunches over, clutching their side. Blood seeps through their fingers. Their eyes flick up, wide, terrified, human. Help, they rasp. Stina's finger hovers near the trigger. The real monsters are long gone, executives in boardrooms, sipping champagne while the world burns. But she's still here, standing in the wreckage. She swallows hard. Tell me, she says, voice low but firm. You got a way out of this hellhole or not? Stina's chest tightens as tears streak down the scientist's face. His breath ragged, fingers trembling where they press against his wound. The desperation in his voice claws at her, but survival has sharpened her instincts into something ruthless. She can't afford trust. Not here. Turn around, she orders, voice rough but quieter than before. Arms out, now. He obeys, shaking as he faces the wall, arms spread like a man awaiting execution. Stina steps closer, gun still trained on him, as she pats him down, checking for bites, for hidden weapons, for any sign of infection. His lab coat reeks of antiseptic and sweat, no bloodstains except his own. Please, he whispers. I didn't know what they were making us do. Not until it was too late. Stina's throat burns. She remembers the first time she saw a child turn, the way their mother screamed. She remembers the soldiers who shot survivors just in case. Her fingers flex on the gun. No fresh wounds, no festering skin. Just a dying man who picked the wrong employer. She steps back, holstering her weapon with a sharp click. Where's the train? He sags in relief, pointing weakly toward a service elevator at the end of the hall. Sublevel B3. Key card's in my pocket. He winces as he fumbles to retrieve it. It's rigged to detonate after departure. Umbrella protocol. Of course it is. Stina takes the card, stained with his blood. For a second their eyes meet, his full of guilt, hers of something worse, understanding. Stay behind me, she says, turning toward the elevator. The scientist limps after her, but she doesn't look back. She can't. Somewhere in the lab something screeches. The walls rattle. They're out of time. Elevator doors slide shut. The licker's grotesque body barely has time to lunge before Stina's boot connects with its skull. Crack! The force so brutal, its head caves in like rotten fruit. Gore splatters across the lab floor as the creature collapses, twitching. She barely spares it a glance, already turning back to the scientist, her hands gripping his shoulders to steady him. His face is pale, breath shallow with pain and shock. "You okay, sweetie?" Her voice is softer now, almost tender, a stark contrast to the violence of moments ago. She thumbs away a streak of liquor blood near his chin, her touch deliberate but gentle. He stares at her, trembling. "You didn't have to." "Yeah, I did." She interrupts, but there's no bite to it. She exhales, her grip tightening just for a second, like she's holding on to him to remind herself he's real. "I don't want to kill anybody, not even the ones who maybe deserve it." A dry, humorless laugh. "And I could choose to believe you, so prove me right, yeah." The elevator dings. The doors slide open to reveal the dim glow of sublevel B3. Somewhere down there, the train waits, their only shot at escape. Stina offers him her arm, her eyes sharp but not unkind. "Lean on me. And don't fucking die before we get out of here." Stina's grip tightens slightly on Johnny's arm as they step into the elevator, her expression unreadable for a moment before she lets out a quiet scoff, half amusement, half something darker. "Clean water?" She shakes her head, the irony bitter on her tongue. "So you were mopping up the blood while they pumped the poison." The elevator lurches downward. Johnny flinches at her words, but she doesn't pull away. Her tone isn't accusatory, just tired. "Resigned. I didn't know what it was for," he mumbles, shame thick in his voice. "Not until the leaks started. The reports got buried. Then the lockdown happened." Stina watches the floor numbers tick down. B1, B2. The fluorescents buzz overhead. "Yeah, that's how they get you," she says quietly. "Clean the pipes. Don't ask questions." "Right." Johnny doesn't answer. The elevator dings. B3. The doors open to a cavernous sublevel, the air thick with the stench of fuel and rust. In the distance, the biological train hums, a sleek, monstrous thing waiting on the tracks. Stina adjusts her grip on Johnny's waist, her voice low but firm. "Keep moving. We're not dying in this shithole." Somewhere above them, the ceiling groans, the sound of something heavy dragging itself through the vents. They run. Johnny stumbles to a halt, eyes wide as he takes in the row of containment pods. People inside, their bodies twisted by grotesque experiments, writhing against the glass. Some still conscious, their hollow eyes locking onto them in silent agony. We have to help them," Johnny chokes out, voice breaking. Stina doesn't slow down. Her fingers curl around the grenade clipped to her belt, her expression ironclad. "Look at them," she growls, voice raw. "You really think there's a cure for that?" One of the infected slams against the pod glass, veins blackened, teeth fused into jagged spikes. A whimper escapes its throat. Not a scream, not anymore. Just noise. Johnny sways, sickened, but Stina's already pulling the pin. Her grip on his arm is vice-tight. "Only one way out for them now," she says, and her voice doesn't shake. "Close your eyes." The grenade clatters to the floor. They sprint, past the wails, past the pounding fists against glass, just as the explosion rips through the lab behind them, fire and relief in equal measure. Johnny sobs as they run. Stina doesn't. The train's engine roars to life ahead. His shoulders tremble under her grip, his tears soaking her shirt. Stina holds him tighter, her chin hooked over the top of his head, shielding him from the world for the first time in God knows how long. He's barely 16, she thinks. A kid. "I got you," she murmurs. "I got you. You're gonna be okay. Just breathe. I got you." She smooths his hair back, fingers trembling slightly. He's not the only one overwhelmed. The ground shakes as Mr. X lumbers into view, towering, unstoppable, his fist already swinging toward Johnny like a wrecking ball. "Down!" Stina shoves Johnny behind her just in time. The punch grazes her shoulder instead, sending her spinning with a grunt. Pain flares, but she doesn't hesitate. She rolls with the momentum, already yanking the M79 grenade launcher off her back. Mr. X charges. She fires. Boom. The explosion rocks the corridor, flames licking up the tyrant's trench coat, but he doesn't stop. Stina curses, ejecting the spent shell with a sharp clink and reloading in one fluid motion. "Johnny, move!" She fires again, this time at his knees. The blast sends him staggering, but his fist still lashes out, clipping her side. She stumbles, ribs screaming, but keeps the launcher raised. Third shot, point blank. The grenade tears through Mr. X's chest, the force finally knocking him back into a crumbling wall. For a second he's still, then the flames engulf him. Stina wheezes, blood trickling from her lip. She spits it aside and turns to Johnny, gripping his face to check for injuries. "Still with me, kid?" Her voice is rough, but her hands are steady. He nods, shaky but alive. Good enough. The train's final boarding alarm blares. They're out of time. Stina moves like something out of hell, weaving under Mr. Grasping claws, her movements fueled by adrenaline and rage. With every shot, she dances just out of reach, her lips curled into a cruel smirk as the tyrant reels in pain. "Oh, what's wrong, Tin Can?" she taunts, reloading with brutal efficiency. "Getting slow on us?" Stina backflips over a swinging fist, her grin sharp as shattered glass. Mr. Punch obliterates a row of lab equipment instead. Glass shatters, consoles explode, and she cackles while midair, already firing another grenade. "Hey, big guy," she calls, landing in a crouch as the blast sends him crashing into a containment tank. Fluids gush out, drenching his smoldering coat. "Nice right hook, too bad you fight like my grandma." Another shot, another miss, for him. The grenade tears through a structural beam instead, and the ceiling groans ominously. Johnny stares, wide-eyed, from behind an overturned gurney. "Are you trying to bury us alive?" Stina winks. "Nah, just making sure he really earns that promotion, Mr. X roars, charging again, just as the ceiling collapses on top of him. Silence. Then, from under the rubble, a feeble twitch of a gloved hand, Stina dusts off her shoulders, overtime denied. The train whistle shrieks. Last call. Stina's hands are rough but tender as they skim over Johnny's shoulders, his arms, checking for injuries with swift precision. Her breath is still ragged from the fight, but her touch is steady. When she finds no wounds, she exhales sharply, relief flashing in her eyes before she schools her expression back into its usual sharp-edged bravado. "Good. Stay that way," she mutters, but then Johnny looks up at her, his voice small but sincere. "Thank you for saving my life." Something in Stina's chest cracks. She hesitates, then cups his face in both hands, her thumbs brushing away the grime and blood, not his, never his, from his cheeks. Her voice drops, softer than she'd ever admit. "Don't thank me yet, kid. We're not out of here." But her grip lingers for a second, longer than necessary, like she's memorizing the fact that he's alive, that she didn't fail him. The train's engine revs, warning them that time's up. She pulls away, nudging him toward the tracks with a jerk of her chin. "Move your ass. I didn't blow up a tyrant for you to die in the home stretch." Johnny laughs, shaky but real, and sprints ahead. Stina follows, one last glance behind her at the ruined lab, the smoldering wreckage of Umbrella's sins. Then she runs, and doesn't look back. Stina and Johnny run into the flora department, and Stina nearly gags at the thick, sickly scent of decaying vegetation. The walls are overrun with mutated vines, their thorny coils as thick as her arm, and something black and viscous from the ceiling like blood. She eyes the plants warily, gun raised. Zombies were bad enough, she grumbles, but plants? Umbrella needs to chill. Johnny gulps, sweat beading his brow. I heard whispers about an accident here. Something to do with plant viruses. Stina quickly stocks up on an array of ammunition, her eyes flicking between plant-infested corridors with grim determination. As she reloads her weapons, she looks over to Johnny, her expression hard but her words surprisingly gentle. "Look, there's no sugarcoating this one. We're dealing with some serious biohazard bullshit. And yeah, it's gonna be scary. Hell, it's already freaky as hell in here." She grips his shoulder, her touch firm. "But you got me, and I got the firepower to back it up. You're not alone." The first infected creature drops down from above, its mutated form a grotesque fusion of plant and flesh. Razor-sharp teeth are fused with vines, its eyes lost in a sea of thorns. It howls, lashing out with a leafy limb. Stina reacts first, her flame rounds igniting the ivy zombie instantly. It writhes, shrieking as it crumbles into ash. Stina spits disgustedly, sweeping the room with her gun. God, I hope we don't see more of those. The second infected creature shambles forward, its movements jerky and unnatural as it tries to close the distance. Stina wastes no time, firing a flame round that connects, setting the creature ablaze. It convulses, screeching as it attempts to douse the flames. Stina reloads with a scoff, her eyes still scanning for any signs of movement. Jesus Christ. If those are just the common zombies, I can only imagine what the boss will look like. Stina picks up a crumpled document from the floor, its edges singed and stained. The handwriting is shaky, desperate. She reads aloud, her voice losing its usual bite. Mia, if you find this, I'm sorry. They made me feed them. The others, they're changing. Green skin, veins like roots. They look at me like they're hungry, like they remember me. I can't do this anymore. If I don't make it out, know I loved you, and I never wanted this. She crushes the paper in her fist, jaw clenched. Johnny watches her, silent. Fuck Umbrella, she finally spits, tossing the note aside. Come on. We're burning this place down on our way out. The vines on the walls twitch. Stina and Johnny arrive at a door labeled Dr. William Birkin, head of G virus research. Before she can touch the handle, the door opens, revealing a weary woman holding a bloody revolver. The woman's eyes. Annette Birkin. Stina remembers from her background checks, narrow as she takes in the sight of them. Her voice is sharp like cut glass, but exhaustion crouches beneath every word. Who are you? She demands. Umbrella spies? Stina keeps her gun trained on Annette, finger resting lightly on the trigger. Her smirk is razor-thin, devoid of humor. Lady, if I wanted your damn virus, I'd have taken it already, she snaps. I'm here because this whole shit show needs to burn. Annette's grip tightens on her revolver, but she doesn't raise it. Her eyes flick to Johnny, young, bruised, clinging to Stina's side, and something in her hard expression wavers. You don't know what you're up against, Annette warns, voice low. Stina barks a laugh, jerking her chin toward the ruined lab behind them, the screeches of infected, the distant crash of collapsing metal. Oh, I got a fucking good idea. Somewhere deeper in the facility, something monstrous growls. Stina's lip curls in revulsion as she glares at Annette. Beautiful. That thing out there is tearing people apart. She snarls, gesturing violently toward the echoing growls in the distance. And you're sitting here calling it art? Annette's expression twists, not with guilt, but with a frightening, feverish pride. Evolved. Beyond Umbrella's petty designs. He transcended. And yes, they all had to pay. Stina's grip on her gun tightens, her disgust curdling into something colder. She glances at Johnny, whose face is pale with horror, then back at Annette. Lady, you're just as fucked up as they are. The growls grow louder, closer. Whatever William has become, it's hunting. Johnny, move. We're not dying for this bitch's science project. She shoves past Annette, toward the exit, just as the wall behind them shatters. The monstrous thing that was once William stumbles into view, deformed, half-plant, and entirely monstrous. He cries out, desperate. His words barely human. Help me. He approaches them, his ruined form lurching with each step. Stina keeps her grenade launcher raised, her voice a low snarl. Like you helped all those innocent people I had to destroy cause of you. She mocks, anger lacing her words. You're just another damn moron who thought he could play God. William's mutated fingers clench around the pipe, his breath ragged, voice thick with rage and pain. The pipe groans under his unnatural grip, bending slightly. You don't understand. Umbrella sent them in guns ready. He growls, his words distorted by his twisted physiology. I tried to talk, but all they saw was a prize to steal, the virus. They were gonna sell it, weaponize it. I stopped them. His form trembles, half monster, half man, still clinging to some shred of his old self. Stina keeps the launcher trained on him, but her glare falters for a fraction of a second. Johnny swallows hard. Did you have to turn the whole city into monsters? William's remaining eye locks onto him, full of fury, full of grief. They made sure there was no other way. Stina's finger hovers over the trigger. Bullshit. There's always another way. William's laugh is a wet, broken sound. Not with Umbrella. The ceiling creaks, something else is coming. Stina exhales sharply. Johnny, move, she fires. The grenade impacts William's mutated torso. ripping chunks of infected flesh apart as flames engulf him. He staggers, howling in agony, but still swings a massive clawed limb at her. Stina dodges with a roll, popping back up with her launcher already reloaded. Still swinging, huh? She taunts, circling him as he stumbles. Guess even monsters don't know when to quit. William roars, charging blindly, just as she fires again. Crack. This shot tears through his already ruined leg, sending him crashing to the floor. He writhes, his form collapsing in on itself, the virus within him destabilizing. His screams are raw human 1 second, guttural and monstrous the next. Stina watches, expression unreadable. Yeah. Hurts, doesn't it? Behind her, Johnny covers his ears, eyes squeezed shut. She loads one last round. Let's end this. Boom. Silence. William's body twitches, his twisted form shuddering in agony. Stina eyes him with a mix of disgust and anger, already reloading. His voice is barely human, thick with pain and desperation. I'm dying. Stina hesitates, conflict flashing in her eyes. A part of her wants to feel sympathy, to acknowledge the tragedy of a man twisted by greed and circumstances beyond his control. But she remembers the screams, the blood, the ruined forms. She shakes her head, her voice hard. You brought this on yourself. You made your choice. William's mangled form stumbles to its feet, fear and desperation driving him forward. With a pained howl, he charges blindly, hoping to escape the inferno. Stina swears, raising her launcher again. Oh no, you don't. She fires, her shot exploding into William's flank. The corridor leads to the flora department, its sickly vines clinging to the walls like parasitic veins. There, another infected drops from above, its mutated limbs flailing. Stina wastes no time, obliterating it with a well-placed shot. Disgusting motherfuckers, she sneers under her breath, eyes sweeping the room for further threats. Stina watches in disbelief as the melted remains of the Ivy zombie writhe and reform, twisting grotesquely into a crude humanoid shape. Flesh and vines knit together, reforming limbs, a torso, even something resembling a face. She slowly raises her gun again, finger hovering over the trigger. The hell is this? Johnny takes a shaky step back. It's regenerating. The thing lets out a gurgling moan, almost a word, before collapsing into sludge again. Stina exhales sharply. Yeah, no, we're burning this whole fucking place down. The exit looms ahead, just past a field of twitching half-formed shapes. Another Ivy zombie shuffles into view, its movements uncoordinated and aimless. Stina eyes it carefully, then raises her launcher. Here we go again. She fires, obliterating the creature with a single shot. The remains catch fire, burning to ash like paper. Burn, you bastard, she mutters, reloading. Stina and Johnny find an elevator labeled emergency exit at the end of the room. Stina narrows her eyes. Finally, out of here. She hits the up button, her shoulders dropping slightly as she leans against the wall, her exhaustion finally showing. Johnny remains silent, eyes wide and haunted. They wait. The elevator hums in the tense silence. Johnny suddenly tears up, emotion finally overflowing. Stina blinks in surprise at the tears, caught off guard by the display of vulnerability. He turns to her, his voice choked. I don't know what I would have done without you, Stina. His gratitude echoes in the small, sterile elevator. Stina hesitates, her gaze softening just a bit. Hey, kid, anyone would have done the same, she says gruffly, trying to downplay her role. But there's a gentler edge in her voice. Stina and Johnny step out into the cafeteria, their boots echoing on the cold, tiled floor. The room is filled with the stench of death, bodies scattered about. Worse yet are the sounds, the wet, sickening sounds of consumption from the infected. A speaker crackled to life above them, spewing a cheerful advertisement. Try our new and approved healthy collection today. Stina grimaced, shaking her head in disbelief. They always have to have their ads, even in a shit show like this. Stina takes aim with her magnum, firing precisely at the infected. The bullets tear through their skulls like paper, exploding in a mess of gore and blood. They fall to the ground, twitching and writhing for a moment before falling still for good. Johnny watches in horror, the violence finally getting to him. He looks away, his face pale. Stina pauses, noticing his discomfort. Hey, you doing all right? Stina's expression softens, her voice a bit reassuring despite its usual sharpness. I know, kid, it's not pretty, not one bit. But you gotta keep it together, yeah? We're almost there. The ceiling erupts as the reinforced tube smashes into cafeteria floor, steam hissing, glass shattering, and from the wreckage, Mr. X rises once more, his trench coat torn but his towering form unstoppable. Stina doesn't hesitate. Come on! She swings her grenade launcher up and fires. Boom! The blast sends him staggering, but he barely flinches, already charging. Stina backpedals, reloading with a snarl. Johnny, run! She fires again, this time at his knees, the explosion cracking the tile beneath him. He stumbles, but his fist still lashes out, clipping a support pillar. The ceiling groans. Stina grins. Yeah, now we're talking. She aims higher. Boom! The grenade tears through the damaged roof, and half the cafeteria collapses on top of Mr. burying him under tons of rubble. Silence. Stina exhales, shoulders tense. Stay dead this time. You bastard. The emergency exit door glows ahead. Just a few more steps. The naked, hulking zombies lurch forward, their mutated muscles twitching grotesquely with each step. Stina grits her teeth, raising her machine gun. All right, pretty heads, let's see how you like this. She unloads, each shot a perfect, vicious strike. Heads burst like rotten fruit, yet the bodies keep stumbling forward, limbs jerking even as they collapse in slow motion. Johnny backs up, the breath ragged. Why aren't they dying fast? Stina swaps to her magnum with a frustrated growl. Because Umbrella's upgrades suck. Blam. That's why. The train's engine revs so close now. The next corridor twists them past a small group of infected, a mix of the original Ivies and the new naked variants. Stina fires, blowing the head off an Ivy, only to have it keep moving, its headless body lurching toward her. Jesus, what the heck is this? They're not supposed to keep moving after a headshot. Next, she unloads on a naked zombie. Just like the Ivy, it keeps moving. Stina grips her machine gun tighter, her jaw clenched as she sprays bullets into the approaching horde. Heads explode, torsos rip apart, and this time, most of them collapse in heaps, finally still. She pants, glaring at the few twitching remains. There. Now stay down. Johnny watches in shaky relief as the last of them stops moving. I think that's all of them. Stina reloads, her voice sharp but steady. Yeah, well, let's not stick around to find out. Move. The train's final boarding alarm blares. They're almost there. Stina forces the rusted gate open with a grunt, the screech of metal echoing through the desolate station. The train hums behind her, ready to escape this nightmare, but not without one last damn override. She turns to Johnny, who stands frozen in the train's doorway, eyes wide with panic. Stay put, she orders, already stepping back. I gotta hit the control panel. Won't take long. Johnny lunges forward and grabs her arm. No. What if more of those things show up? What if... Stina cuts him off with a rough hug, quick, crushing, over before he can even process it. She pulls back, her usual sharpness softened just for a second. Hey, I don't die easy. Johnny swallows hard. Promise. She smirks, cocking her shotgun. Promise. Then she's gone, sprinting toward the flickering control panel as the station's shadows move. The train's engine thrums, waiting. Stina sprints through the gates, her boots pounding against the metal walkway as she clutches the two plugs in her grip. The heat from the massive overheated cup, now spewing molten lava, sears her skin, but she doesn't slow down. Goddamn Umbrella and their overkill security. She mutters, sliding the first plug into place with a sharp click. The system beeps. One down. She jams in the second, muscles straining against the resistance. Come on. A deep guttural roar echoes from the corridor behind her. The train's final boarding light flashes, red to green. She doesn't look back. Johnny, go. The lava bubbles, rising. Just as Stina lunges for the train, the floor splits. Mr. X erupts from beneath in his final monstrous form, a towering abomination of flesh and rage, his claws the size of steel beams. His roar shakes the facility, pipes bursting from the walls. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. Stina snarls, already pivoting to face him, her shotgun raised. But this isn't the same tyrant she's fought before. This thing, this nightmare, is something else entirely. Johnny screams from the train doorway. Stina! She doesn't flinch. Drive the damn train, kid. Mr. X swings, the lava geysers. The train's engine screams, and Stina fires. Stina unloads with the launcher, her shots ripping into Mr. Monstrous' form like paper. But his hide is tougher than anything she's faced. He barely flinches, only stumbling back as he lashes out at the relentless assault. His massive claws slam into her, slashing deep. Stina grunts, collapsing against the floor. She scrambles up, bleeding from multiple wounds, but her eyes are blazing. You won't take me down. I've been through too much for you. You bastard. Not losing. Stina tries to heal with the herbs, but Mr. X doesn't let up. He slashes viciously again and again. One blow sends her flying into the control panel. Sparks fly as the system crackles, barely maintaining the train's safety. Stina staggers, bloodied, gasping for breath. Her weapon lies in shattered pieces. Every inch of her burns, but she still fights, lashing out at the tyrant with a defiant snarl. I won't go down that easy. Stina fires again and again, but the bullets barely dent his monstrous form. Mr. X's claws tear through her like glass, each hit knocking the wind out of her. She struggles up, gasps, her first aid spray spent, her magnum empty. Don't you ever stop, she gasps, blood dripping from a nasty cut on her lip. Mr. X roars, another brutal attack. She staggers, barely staying upright. Out of nowhere, a figure appears on the catwalk above. Use this against the Zionist lover, and hurls a rocket launcher down at her feet before vanishing into the shadows. Stina stares at the weapon, and then at the empty space where the man, Dave Smith, had been. What the actual? No time to question it. Mr. X lunges. She grabs the launcher, aims. Eat this, you overgrown piece of Boom! The explosion engulfs him, the force knocking her back. When the smoke clears, nothing but ash. Silence. Then Johnny's voice, shaky with disbelief. Who the hell was that? Stina tosses the spent launcher aside. No clue, but I'll take it. The train's horn blares. Final warning. Stina limps toward the train, her breath ragged, but as she sees Johnny, relief washes over her. I'm coming, she hisses, limping toward the train, her heart pounding in her throat. Johnny shouts, leaning out the train's doorway. Stina grins, blood trickling down her chin. Don't celebrate till we're out of here. She climbs on board just as the doors close. The train roars to life, and it's moving. The train thunders through the dark tunnel, the rattling metal and screeching tracks drowning out any other sound. Stina grips the railing, peering through the grimy windows. But there's nothing. No signs of life, just shadows. Johnny stands beside her, unnaturally quiet. Stina exhales sharply, rolling her stiff shoulders. Guess we're the only ones left. The train speeds on, carrying them toward whatever comes next. Away from the nightmare, but never free of it. The tunnel stretches endlessly, a road to nowhere. Johnny and Stina stand in the back of the train, weary and battered, but alive. As they cling to each other, grateful for the small victory, a flicker of color catches Stina's eye. Her team shirt. Johnny's wearing it, the same one she'd given him what feels like hours ago. She pulls back, her lips curving in a tired smile. You kept it. Johnny nods, a hint of a grin on his own weary face. You said it would protect me. Guess you were right. Johnny clings to Stina like a lifeline, sobbing against her shoulder. She wraps her arms around the kid, her rough exterior softening as she murmurs comfort. Shh, it's all right, it's over. We did it. We're safe, you hear me? She presses the words into his skin like a brand, a promise, a prayer. As Johnny wipes his eyes, their brief moment of peace is shattered. The train jerks, a sudden force throwing them off balance. What the? Stina snarls, bracing herself against the walls. The lights flicker, a warning alarm blaring to life in the small control compartment. Johnny stands unsteady. What was that? Not sure. Stay on guard. I'll check the control panel. Stina moves cautiously into the darkened cable car, the flickering light casting eerie shadows across the mangled seats and broken glass. The air is thick with the scent of rust and decay, and something else. Something alive. A slow scraping sound echoes from deeper inside. Something dragging, shifting, breathing. She raises her pistol, pulse steady despite the dread coiling in her gut. All right, you ugly bastard, she mutters. Show yourself. The sound stops. Silence. Then, something lunges. She scrambles for her launcher, her hands trembling as she loads the rocket. The creature is huge, as big as the train car itself. Its maw is an endless dark, lined with endless rows of broken teeth. Its eyes are empty and focused on her. She grips the launcher, her gaze defiant. Well, goddamn, I've seen bigger. William's monstrous jaw snapped toward her, gaping, rancid, hungry. Stina doesn't flinch. She fires. Boom. The rocket slams into his throat, exploding in a burst of gore and fire. His tentacles whip wildly, trying to drag her into the wreckage of his ruined form. But she rolls, reloads, fires again. He shrieks, his body convulsing. But still, he comes for her, his maw stretching wider. Stina! Johnny screams from the other car. She bares her teeth. Not today, you ugly bastard. Final shot. Boom! The explosion tears him apart, this time, for good. Silence. Then, we clear? Johnny calls, voice shaking. Stina exhales, lowering the launcher. Yeah, we're clear. The train keeps moving, away from the nightmare, into the unknown. As the remnants of William melt away, Stina lets go of the cable car, leaving the abomination on board. She turns to Johnny, her expression a mix of exhaustion and relief. Looks like we did it, kid. Johnny nods, a slight tremble in his voice. Could have fooled me. What was that thing, anyway? William Birkin. Or what's left of him, anyway? Stina scoffs, rolling her eyes. Nah, hugging's not gonna curse us. But if it does, just blame me. She grins, her rough exterior softening. Besides, I don't believe in luck anyway. As the train finally rolls through the American desert, Stina and Johnny can't help but marvel at the stark contrast with the nightmare they've left behind. The harsh desert sun gleams like fire on the horizon, casting long golden shadows over the endless expanse of sand and rock. They lean out from the train's open door, breathing in the clean desert air, a far cry from the rusted steel and blood of the facility. Stina exhales sharply. Damn, that's something, eh? Stina nods, feeling hope for the first time in days. The idea of exploring the desert feels almost normal. Yeah. Hell, we might as well. She grins, a hint of adventure in her eyes. Hey, kid. Johnny looks at her, a question in his gaze. Yeah. She ruffles his hair, her voice gruff but sincere. Glad you made it. He smiles. Me too. Stina steers her Harley along a rural, winding road, the cool desert air rustling through her hair. Johnny hangs on for dear life, his heart threatening to beat straight out of his chest as the bike roars beneath him. She can't help but grin. The freedom, the open road, feels good. It's a far cry from the cramped hallways of the facility. Stina nods in agreement, her eyes scanning the endless expanse of desertscape. The sky seems to stretch on forever, untouched by the chaos and horror they'd just witnessed. Can't argue with that. This is a world of difference. A damn good one. She glances back at Johnny, her voice soft. You okay back there? Stina chuckles, gripping the handlebars tighter as the Harley hums beneath them. Damn right. After what we've been through, this is a damn vacation. She accelerates slightly, letting the wind whip past them. Freedom, finally, in its purest form. Enjoy it, kid. And for once, they do. The desert road stretches endlessly before them, bathed in golden sunlight. Stina and Johnny ride on, leaving the horrors of the lab far behind, just two survivors in a world that for once feels kind. No more experiments, no more monsters. Just the wind, the road, and the quiet promise of peace. They lived happily. The end. Or is it?